All right, we move on to number 3, Bad Batch, episode 9, Bounty Lost. We learned that the reason Omega is so sought after by Kamino Prime Minister Lama Su is that she has the same genetic code as Boba Fett, the original Jango clone. Lama Su has arranged a meetup and instructed Nala Se to retrieve the genetic code and then terminate Omega. Bounty hunter Cad Bane takes Omega to the rendezvous point with the cloners, but on the way, Omega tricks Toto 360, Bane's droid, and escapes briefly. He recaptures her and is about to exchange her when he sees the dead body of the cloner, and standing over her is Fennec Shand. Bane and Shand battle as Omega escapes from Toto and eventually signals the Batch, who is able to rescue her. Bane fails to get his bounty, and Fennec relays to Nala Se that Omega has escaped the bounty hunter. What did you think about this episode?
It felt like the middle of a movie episode, which is where we're at with this show. You know, like we're kind of in that. I get like not let's say it's a third. Everything's broken up. This is the second third of this whatever, and we're like, there's something that happens. She's taken away, and now we have to find her, and she escapes a little bit, and so we get, oh, she's escaped, and then she's taken back. And then we find out the information about Boba Fett, and now she's back. And there's a little line at the end, like, you'll never go back, I promise, and all this stuff. And it's like, but we still have some episodes left, and they're still going to try to hunt her down. So it's just that right before we actually hit the climax. Like the next 2 episodes will probably be like where things actually get crazy, and for as crazy as the show can get for being a cartoon. Yeah, so I think it was, it was cool to learn the Boba Fett thing, because every time Boba Fett is mentioned in any Star Wars lore, everybody gets excited. Beyond that, it was a fine episode. I never got too excited about anything other than what I just said. So, I still, because it's such a long season compared to where other seasons, shows are at, and in this world, there's still a lot actually left. So I'm still excited to see where this goes. I mean, it's still that same thing where like, oh, they encounter a problem, hijinks ensue, they sort of solve it, or something bad happens as like a to be continued. This time it was something good happens, but it's still a to be continued.
For my part, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought the action sequences between Cad Bane, who's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, Cad Bane is awesome.
When he comes onto the screen and the music changes to this sort of like Sergio Leone spaghetti Western type situation that they have going on is great. Just the way he carries himself is really really fun. I thought the action sequences between him and Fennec Shand were really well done, and like you said, quote unquote, for a cartoon. But I feel like that it's things like that kind of make you at least momentarily forget that you are watching a cartoon. And I would also say that to the people who are like, I'm not going to watch this because it's just a cartoon, dumb decision, because cartoons can be, we did our episode on our 10 favorite animated movies, a while back. Cartoons can be, or animated things can be just as powerful as things with real people. So if you're not giving this a chance, and then that's bad on you. Aside from the action sequences between the two of them, there wasn't a whole lot of, Clone Force 99. I do think that they are going to go back to Kamino. I think that that's almost a guarantee. At this point, as we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 5 episodes left. There's no way around it, really. I'm interested to see, long-term how the show winds up, because I do think that we'll get a better indication on whether this is a 1-season thing or it's going to be a multiple season thing. There's still a couple threads out there. There was the episode where we very clearly got a look at, or we assume that we very clearly got a look at Ahsoka. Just some other like threads out there that could be pulled on here in these next episodes. So I'm curious and very interested to see where it went. Just as a complete aside to this, was the first time Fennec showed up in the show, I was like, I don't really feel like the ages line up. I remember saying that. So I did a little bit of research. Mm-hmm. So in the Bad Batch, they assume that Fennec is 27 years old. And I'm like, well, that would make her 57 in The Mandalorian. Right. And then I looked up I looked up how old the actress who plays Fennec Shand is, Ming-Na Wen. She's 57 years old, which doesn't seem right to me because she's very attractive. I'm not saying older ladies. I'm not saying older ladies can't be good looking. I'm not saying that at all.
They also age differently in the Star Wars universe. So
I guess.
Maybe that's it.
I was shocked when I learned that she's almost 60. That like blew my mind a little bit.
Nice. I mean, this is just going on with your like thing about the action scenes. I always think that all the action scenes in this series are actually like, you kind of forget you're watching an animated feature, because when you watch action scenes in a Star Wars movie between two people that aren't humans, I guess, you know what I mean, like or in gear, they look pretty much the same because it's still like CGI or whatever. So they do a really, really good job of making these scenes like look really cool, and you kind of suspend your belief of it being animated. So that's like one thing. The action scenes are always kind of killer. I kind of always forget. I actually always feel like I forget to mention it because they are just so good. I don't even think about it. I'm just like, these just look great every single time in this show.
So yeah, we'll see kind of where things progress with this, as far as, pulling on some of those threads that we mentioned as we kind of wind down here to the last several episodes.